Hello and welcome to The Scene. I'm Tony Coleman, and today on the sofa I've got Andy Granville representing the Village Green. How are you doing, Andy? Alright?
Not bad, you?
Yeah, very good, yeah. Just to kick off, Andy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your band?
We've got Village Green. We've been together about 6 months now. We've had a few teething problems with lineups and things like that, so we're just only just now starting to really press on.
Can you tell us what sort of fan base you've got around the area then?
Well, I was in a band beforehand called Fallen Phoenix, and luckily the fan base from that sort of transferred over. So I guess as far as new bands go, we're actually quite lucky in that sense that people are already quite familiar with some of the songs that we're playing and things like that. So the turnouts for the gigs that we've had so far have been really positive.
Excellent. Just to get to know your music a bit better, what sort of music would you call it that you produce?
I'd call it indie rock, but we're neither here nor there. Sometimes we get put on with really strong metal bands, which again we're not quite as heavy, and then sometimes we get put on with more garage rock indie bands, which we're a touch more heavy than. So it's really difficult to sort of pigeonhole us, but we're compared to early Feeder a lot and things like that.
Right. Obviously you're the vocalist in the band. Do you write the songs? Yeah. And where do you get your inspiration from, or the ideas for writing?
It's usually little things like I'll hear a phrase and I think that would make an amazing song title, and I'll write a song around that. Or sometimes it's like an experience you've been through or anything like that. But I take a lot of my influence from the early 60s and late 60s pop rock scene and things like that.
Is there any particular bands that you can think of from that era that you'd relate to?
Well, obviously it's the Beatles are my favourite band ever. The band's actually named after a Kinks album.
Right.
Village Green Preservation Society, early Stones stuff, and when the Stones started to get a bit more experimental.
Excellent. Do you ever sort of find that you've got an amazing track and then you think, right, this needs some lyrics now? Or is it always the case we've got some lyrics, let's make the track?
I always start with, every single of my songs starts with me sat in a chair with an acoustic guitar, and I'll play these chords over and over and I'll have a melody in my head, and the lyrics are built from there.
Right.
But very, very rarely I'll come up with a lyric and think I have to write a song around it, but mostly it's the other way around for me.
Right. Do the other guys pitch in at all within the writing?
Yeah. Teb's, there's a couple of songs in the set that I co-wrote with the bass player Mike. But what I tend to do, I tend to write the skeleton of a song, and I'll take it into the studio and we'll jam on it.
Of all the songs you've written, is there one that particularly stands out to you or to the group for whatever reason? In this band there's a song called Cherry Hill, which my granddad used to work at a garden centre called Cherry Hill, and I used to spend quite a bit of time there when I was young, so that the song's sort of based around that. So for me that's sort of the most influential track I have. But we've recently just started on a song called Sunshine. It's the first song that the band is coming together to write collectively, instead of just me coming together with an idea and embellishing on it. We've all pitched in, so I get the feeling that when we start to play Sunshine live, it'll be a bit special for the band. Right, excellent. When you're playing at gigs, do you ever find that a particular song stands out to your fans?
Yeah. There's a song called It Hurts, which people tend to like, and we always end on a track called 1984, which people tend to like, and we have a song called Love Will Save the World, which people tend to like. I always think if there's a catchy riff or a catchy melody that people can go away from the gig singing or humming, it tends to help them remember you, and those three songs would have those.
Just going back to 1984, I noticed you've got a tattoo on your wrist.
Yeah.
Is that a date of birth, or is it
the
significance?
the year I was born. Yeah.
Right. And is that within the group as well?
I'm the oldest in the group, but it was just a song that I wrote, and I'm a big fan of Ash, and they named their debut album 1977 because it was the year I was born. The year they was born, and I guess I was just in a bit of a, I guess I stole from them a tiny bit, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was the year I was born.
Right, very good. I mean, you've mentioned
a few artists such as the Beatles and Ash. Is there anyone else that you'd maybe aspire to be like?
Well, I was brought up on bands like I was brought up on the Beatles and I was brought up on Queen and things like that. But I was 10-year-old when Oasis came out, and it was them that suddenly, like, hearing their songs, and suddenly going, I want to play guitar.
Right.
So it was then that sort of got me into guitar, and like the mid-90s Britpop scene, just as I was growing up. And so I suppose I could look to bands like Supergrass and Blur and things like that.
Yeah. That
would really inspire me, like, because I started to move the goalposts. It went from, playing to 200 people at Historia or whatever to big gigs and things like that. And I really like that.
When you're gigging, or I mean even if you're just out in the public eye, out in the public, do you ever get approached by people, or maybe see the same faces that you've seen from gigs and stuff?
Oh yeah, all the time. The local scene is absolutely brilliant. There's so many like people who just really love and they really promote like local music.
Yeah.
I was actually approached I was in London with work, and I was walking in Legoland and I heard someone shout Village Green. So I looked over and some geezer was waving and he says, I'll see you at Uncle Albert's. And me trying to be cool as you like, just thought I'd just give him a nod like that.
Yeah.
And as I did that, I walked into the back of someone. So don't think I've quite got the rock star thing down yet.
Is there any particular memories that have stood out, either gigging or writing a song or anything that since you've been in the Village Green?
Well, when you write songs, there's moments like when you have like a little breakthrough, like a melody comes to you, oh yeah, this chord sequence fits together, and you think, wow, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 it isn't, but it's good that they have these little moments that carry you through, like when you're writing a song. Sometimes songs are so easy, sometimes songs write themselves, and sometimes they're a slog, and you spend months and months trying to get this song right, and you have this tiniest breakthrough, and you think, wow. So they sort of keep it going.
Yeah. When you first formed Village Green, did you ever find that you had to change or adopt maybe the way you played or sang, or anyone else in the band have changed, or is it just?
I like to think that we're a mix of everyone's influences and styles and things like that. I think it might have been hard for the rest of the band when they first came, because obviously when I started Village Green, the first thing I did was ask Mike from previous band if he wanted to play bass, so he understood, and like we use a few of the songs from the previous band, so those were already written. They already had style. They already had everything. So when the two new lads came in, it was sort of hard for them to put their own spin on our songs that people already knew really well. But now that we're moving on from that into the songs that we're making as a band together, like the style's radically different in that sense.
Yeah. So, where do you see yourselves in, say, 5 years' time?
Sitting on this sofa with you,
right?
Having another interview.
Good. Progress is made there.
Album or two out. Done the tour and that. Seeing the world. I love the idea of seeing the world. So if I can do it whilst playing music, that'll be even better. But there's a really good music scene in Teesside which gets ignored because it's not Newcastle, because it's not Manchester. So all we need is one band really to break through.
Yeah. And
people, like the same way it happened with Manchester, one band broke through and suddenly everyone's eyes were on Manchester because more bands might be there. Just need one band from this area to do it, and it's, maybe their entire scene could take off.
Do you think how would you rate the potential in the area?
It's amazing. It's absolutely brilliant. There's so much unique stuff going on. And there is a lot of bands that sound the same as you're going to get everywhere. I don't really subscribe to the whole American punk rock scene that people tend to want to copy. You've got female fronted bands who want to be like Hayley Williams from Paramore, or bands that want to be like Green Day and things like that. It's not really my thing, but there's so much unique music being made on Teesside that it's an absolute crime that it's not being looked at more closely.
Right, thanks a lot, Andy. Is Andy going to play us out with Love Will Save the World and It Hurts?